man to know himself, he must know that which he hunts. Hydaelyn is a vast world, home to many flora and fauna. It is only natural, then, the impulse to attempt to take note of and categorize the endless varieties she houses. From the feathered chocobo to the mischievous cactar, and even the fabricated mammoths, the diversity present of man, creature, and machine inherently calls for a robust and intricate classification system. And so here we present the most commonly accepted taxonomy of such entities on Hydaelyn, crafted by Charlayan scholars of natural history. We will start with the macro and work our way in. The broadest group of fauna in Hydaelyn are the three regnum. They are the bloodborne, comprising those living beings with lifeblood, the bloodless, those entities which are void of humors but function regardless, and the transcendent, beings which straddle the line between the physical and etheric realm. These three pillars act as the foundation for the modern conception and understanding of taxonomy in the 6th and 7th astral era. There is one group, however, that acts as an outlier, and that is those of the chimera classification, a group of beings more accurately crafted than born. However, they are organic, so as not to be like the forgekin or soulkin. The chimera are creations of Allag during the 3rd astral era, and though many thousands of years stand between their initial creation and today, some creatures and their descendants still roam the land. Their inherently manufactured nature makes them, if not singular, then by character, such a confluence of kin and kind as to make their classification meaningless, and so they occupy their own space as chimera. There are, too, accounts of legendary creatures thought to be myth, and though in recent days some have in fact been found to exist, most, if not all of them, still fall into the classification system here used. The three regnum further break down into 12 separate classes based on specific defining traits. Though some creatures within each class may have subclasses relating to the traits of another group, the list of classes should not necessarily be seen as complete, as our knowledge of the natural and unnatural world grows with every passing moon, and so it is ever with caution we proceed in our declarations. In regards to the Bloodborne, there are 7 classes in total: Beastkin, Seedkin, Vilekin, Wavekin, Cloudkin, Scalekin, and Spoken. One of the largest and most diverse classes, Beastkin are most commonly characterized by their warm bodies, blood, and the presence of hair. Another unique trait is unlike other kin in the Bloodborne regnum, which lay eggs to reproduce. Beastkin propagate via live birth. Some of the more docile beastkin take well to domestication and can be raised for labor or food. However, most of their kind treat the spoken races of Hydaelyn as any other creature, and so are threats that must be kept in check. To be classified as Seedkin, flora must exhibit the capacity for controlled mobility with purpose, be it for hunting, defense, or reproduction. Most often a Seedkin will reproduce via seeds or spores, which typically require a medium or host to keep safe within until they are able to act with their own mobility. A Seedkin's likeness to conventional plants can prevent proper caution from adventurers and researchers alike when afield, and careful consideration should be taken when exploring the flora of the wilderness, regardless of climate. Vilekin are those creatures that consist of worms, pests, and other carapaced creatures, be they terrestrial or winged. 2 of the defining characteristics of Vilekin are their multi-stage lifespans that see them develop from simple larvae into much more fearsome forms as adults, and the coloring of their exoskeletons, be it earthen tones for camouflage or bright and vivid displays for warning and enticing. What defines Wavekin is their ability to breathe underwater, be it indefinitely, like with fish, or for a limited duration, such as with amphibians. Though most Wavekin are timid, there are those of great size or savagery that will turn vicious if threatened. Though numerous in variety and the locales in which they can be found, Wavekin can be selective of their habitat, from fresh waters to salty seas, and even dark abysses, hidden from sunlight. The singular feature that defines Cloudkin is their capacity for flight, be it from wing, gas-filled bladder, or ethereal manipulation. Despite this, there are the odd cases of Cloudkin with some breeds lacking this distinguishing trait, such as the Chocobo. In these cases, their vestigial capability and the breeds such as the Black Chocobo help maintain their class placement. All members of the Scalekin class are known by their tough, scaly, or craggy hides that serve to armor their bodies from the elements, or would-be predators. Importantly though, most Scalekin are better defined by their subclass, such as crabs, who occupy the subclass of Wavekin, or the Senua of the Sea of Clouds, which occupy the subclass of Cloudkin with their ability for flight. The final class of the Bloodborne regnum, Spoken, are that group which our races fall into. The sole requirement for being classified as Spoken is that an intelligent creature not only possess independent language, but that the language is capable of interpretation by another Spoken of a different genus. From Hyr to Amalja, the common races of Hydaelyn, as well as those attributed the title of Beastmen, all fall under this class. The three classes of the Bloodless regnum are defined by their lack of organic humors for functioning, be it in the machinery of the Forgekin, the unnatural undeath of Ashkin, or the magicked life of Soulkin. Forgekin are defined by the underlying mechanism of their function. Early classifications of Forgekin assumed they operated under the same magical-based principle as Soulkin. However, in recent days, as creations of automata have progressed, scholars have come to understand that the underlying principle of life in Forgekin is mechanical, not magical in nature, being brought to life by engines powered by various means. Ashkin are born of beings or parts of beings that were at one point living, but for reasons most commonly associated with death, have had their life energy taken from them, leaving only a lifeless husk behind. That husk, or its components, are then reanimated through outside means, such as disembodied souls or dark magics, preventing the body and/or soul from fully returning to the life stream. Soulkin are defined as inorganic matter brought to life through arcane means. These magics allow for an entity to be suffused with aether, allowing for mobility and simple cognition. This defining characteristic of operation based on etheric means is what sets them apart from the likes of Forgekin. Surprising, though, is the possibility of natural forming Soulkin, as nature can at times place aether meant for a living creature in an inanimate object such as the salt golems of Loch Seld. Containing only two classes, Voidsent and Elementals, those beings of the Transcendent regnum are most often denoted by their enigmatic existence. Though to date only two classes are labeled in this category, some beings spoken of in tales from the Warrior of Light's travels may find their way into these two classes, or be whole new classes altogether. Voidsent are numerous in their capabilities and visage, to a point that they are more deserving of their own regnum than merely a class. The underlying nature of their existence, though, unites them, so we must first elucidate their essence. Though too broad a subject to talk about in its entirety, the nature and use of the term void must be summarized in order to understand the nature of the Voidsent. For many thousands of years, the void has been used as a catch-all term to refer to anything unanswerable or inexplicable. Where does this unknown, undefinable creature come from? The void. What causes the moon to wax and wane? The void. Its ubiquity as a tool of explanation, without actually proffering any answer, has led to much confusion on the actual nature of things. In recent days, it has been made clear that Voidsent are not in fact from some incomprehensible plane of existence, but instead one of the 13 reflections of Hydaelyn's source. The 13th, to be exact. A realm not so different from ours, save for being devoid of light, and due to this imbalance, a lack of ambient aether. An affliction which has seen all its inhabitants changed into terrible, aether-starved creatures, which are the Voidsent. Voidsent seek to enter ours and other realms to dine upon their aether. They can intrude upon or be summoned into our realm through void tears that can be naturally forming, albeit small, or with sufficient aether, manufactured to be larger. Once drawn into our realm, a Voidsent's soul must inhabit a vessel in order to maintain its presence here. A loose structural hierarchy is used to group Voidsent within their own class. Each Voidsent is placed in one of 12 rungs based on multiple characteristics, including intelligence and power. The lower the number, the more formidable the Voidsent is in relation to others. This methodology, while useful as a quick means of quantifying the danger a Voidsent presents, is distinctly lacking in rigor, and bears no connection to the actual hierarchy of Voidsent, or even necessarily an accurate portrayal of one's cunning or power. It is such that one should neither discount a Voidsent's rung placement, nor take full stock in it. Last of all the classes are the Elementals, defined by being fully or near fully comprised of aether. Like the varied natures and aspecting of aether, so too is their numerous varieties of elementals. Though not found in all cases, some elementals possess the ability of intelligent communication, which despite their otherworldly nature, finds them with more in common to Spoken and some voidsent than most other classes. Their ethereal and enigmatic behavior is made all the more strange by their propensity to take the form of nearby beings, be it animal, vegetable, or mineral, and even man. The likes of the Arcanist Carbuncle and the Summoner's Eggy find themselves included amongst their number, and so too are the Scholar's Fairy, as all are expressions of near pure aether given life and form. Despite the thoroughness with which the taxonomy of life on Hydaelyn has been crafted, any and all attempts at complete classification are futile, as all dichotomies are false dichotomies. Be it in people's fundamental lack of understanding, as is the case with voidsent, or the complicated nature of an entity that resists rigid classification, as with the rotting Gubu, acting both strongly as Ash and Seedkin. We must be wary of any rigid boundaries we wish to impose on the natural world, no matter how much we wish it were so simple. With that in mind, however, the use and aid of categorization, though it may be imperfect, stands as a powerful tool from which to better understand our world. Correlating traits and natures can do much to allow any and all to feel a sense of, if not order, then at least a loose structure to life on this star. And so, with this primer of knowledge in tow, may it serve you in drawing forth an understanding from a world too often full of chaos. This content was brought to you by the Eorzean Archives. If you enjoyed this video, help us please the 12 by leaving a like and subscribing for new content every Thursday, and comment down below with any topic you'd like to see our archons cover in the future. For even more content, discussion, and exclusives, please check out our Discord and consider supporting us on Patreon.